Hello guys and welcome back to GPS4 with our Sweden playthrough here. I just got a pop-up here about artillery self-propelled guns. I guess that's what they're calling cannons now, because I saw that. You go into the budget, you can buy missiles, mortar rounds. Mortar rounds, that's what cannons use, mortar rounds. I believe it's cannons. Then the missiles is high velocity missiles, which I assume gets shot by that. I love how there's combat robots now. Nobody can make them yet, but that's really good if you're a low pop country. We're standing up to bigger ones. We have some cannons. We have some. Can we make our own? We can make our own that are tier 2. Accuracy low. Range of mortar rounds low. Defensive capability. The accuracy improves. I assume the range improves as well. Yeah. We can't make the best. We're going to rely on our own national production for everything, by the way. Well, not everything. Maybe there's some things beyond what we would be able to get that we might do. But it's just easier to pour that money back into our economy. Unless our economy is doing too well, which I don't imagine it will. The state of our military so far, this is a terrible recap. There's not really a lot to recap, but you know what I'm doing. We're 3 episodes in. We have, oh my gosh, nobody can even make these. We can't make our submarines yet. We haven't reactivated the industry yet. That's right. And frigates. We have a bare bones navy. We do have the fighter planes ranked 2. We can build those. The suicide drones are interesting. I'd love to get that off the ground. This only rank 1. There's only rank 1. Defense potential 14. High speed, one-time use. Those could probably be pretty useful. And we also have like normal drones, not detected, not detectable by anti-aircraft system. I don't remember that being a thing. That's really cool. So, and then there's anti-missile batteries. I think that's what it's referring to. Or was there a separate anti-air thing? I'm not sure. I remember drones were more like stealthy than fighters, and fighters were like stronger. These combat robots are hilarious. 7.62 caliber machine gun, 150 range rocket launcher. Oh my gosh. Autonomous AI controlled by remote operator. Interesting. Wait, remote operator, but autonomous AI. What? That's not how that works. Still, cool though. Adapted to urban combat. So really good in urban combat. More than anything else. That's really, really cool. These would be really neat to have some of. Though at the same time, I'm sure the spamming commandos strategy probably still works. Military is something we're going to have to get into eventually, but right now is not that time. Everyone that can make tanks is making rank 3 tanks. Our tanks are awful. We have terrible tanks. Too bad you can't set up those things where it goes in like a loop where America will give us tier 3 tanks and then we give our tanks to Ukraine. Because look at all these tier 1 tanks. I don't want these. We're going to have to see what tanks we can build and deal with that. I also found something, guys, that I wanted to show you, which is this button right here, which pulls up this immigration statistics by country. This is really, really cool. Let me get these suppressions back. I'm almost through all the aid finally. Jesus. But if I go to Sweden, we could see right here the immigration. This is like this, well, before the start of the game, this is the start. So we're getting our biggest single chunk of immigration from illegal immigration. So that's not great. And we have 50,000 temporary refugees already. So we don't want to take any more. This is stuff we were talking about last episode. And then you could see the immigration country of origin annual flow. I don't know if that's like as it affects us. It is as it affects us, actually. Annual flow. So most of them are Syrian. There's some from Iraq. There's Finland, Iran, Eritrea, Poland, Denmark. A lot of interesting locations. And you can see student country of origins. Where are students coming from? Mostly Finland, Poland, and Denmark. Okay, yeah, because this is one of the things, is like 5.1% students, interns. There's also humanitarian refugees. This is counted here. Cool. They probably work here, I would hope. Return of nationals, our students coming home, I guess. Others, family coming here. Illegal immigrants in the country are mostly coming from Syria, Iraq. I guess they're choosing to stay, but illegally. Syria, Iraq, Eritrea. And then temporary refugees. Oh, all of our temporary refugees are from Ukraine. That's interesting. Temporary. I wonder if they can choose to stay if they want. So we got a bonus here to happiness, public sector, mostly research. It's because I boosted the aeronautics research. So that's really cool. More nationalization is going through. So I'm glad that actually made them happy, because I was doing a lot of things that was making everybody unhappy. Something that's not going to make anybody happy at all, really, is me raising my own security. But I'm going to put just 1 star into it. We'll go back and forth between like that and combating illegal immigration. We have such welcoming immigration and naturalization for illegal immigrants, like capabilities, that I hope to just get as many moving in naturally rather than like forcing the issue. So I guess if we looked at Ukraine, I'm in the military map mode, I just noticed. How's this going? Looks like Ukraine lost every city they had over here, Sloviansk and Bakhmut, and they are probably in the process of losing this trench too. So the front line's going to be moved back here. No change really anywhere else. Well, cool. There's military camps belonging to the Ukrainian Foreign Legion. That's interesting. There's only like 1,100 population in it, but still. We're going to have a lot of demonstrations eking away at our popularity, I can tell. But we're going to do our best to combat that. I just find some of this stuff so cool, some of this new stuff. Because, you know, it's new, and this game doesn't change too often. Right, so when it comes to aids, and we have some more nationalizations passing, I've taken away aid from every country that is not in NATO, because I don't want to sway them letting me into NATO, because we still have that outstanding application. And I have not taken away from Ukraine, because I feel like the NATO countries care a lot about that. And I'm going to yoink all of this once we get into NATO, mind you, all of it. Especially Ukraine's. They have like the most that we can snatch. So we're definitely going to do that. It's just a matter of time. Now, I don't want to really raise many more taxes. I am tempted to introduce some. I am tempted with... I didn't realize that EU harmonization was a thing. And in fact, I kind of want to try to take advantage of it, where we can become a little bit more of a tax haven, if possible, and then just blaze on economic growth, which our growth is still going up, inflation is going down, deficit is good. Now the deficit debt, that stuff will only matter at the end of every like quarter or something. So we just need to keep it, I just want to keep it in the positive, really. But economic growth is how we're really going to do this. Now, I can stoke economic growth by changing the interest rate as well if I really want to. But I'm currently, as we know, I'm going to try to get this stuff all going. But I think I'm through a lot of my busy work. So what I really want to do is have some time pass to see if these subsidies get any of these running for the military. And I want to make the military better. This is way too expensive. I see we need to buy equipment for infantry now. That's a thing to worry about. I'll get my commandos up to like 100 to have that be a nice flat amount. Get a little bit of expansion. 100's not really going to be useful. Maybe as a strike force to just like insert into a place, but otherwise it's not actually going to be useful. I think it was just those commandos did not earn us any favors with anybody. We're so anti-military and anti-war in this country. As I make changes, their opinions will change, but yeah, down 2.4% popularity. I'm trying to not hit 100 because 100 is like not actually great to hit. I figured this would take a hit out of it, so I wanted to do it like this. But remember, you have to balance, because when you're at 100, you start wasting it. The Pacifist Union are demonstrating again. They're gonna do their thing. I don't really mind. But it gives me opportunities to spend on other things, for example. Maybe things that we're already spending a lot of. How about ICT cybersecurity? That's not too crazy. We haven't gotten a research buff in a little bit. Or I could look at even other things. Things that could help the economy, like media. We haven't looked at this at all. So we're actually really well built up. Mobile telephones 100%, broadband internet 100%. 4G internet is almost 100, super high speed almost 100. Small nation, but hey, the EU will fund this. 5G mobile internet, not so much. Now, how much does this cost? Over 5 years, $3 billion. That's not actually that bad. Annual is like 617 or whatever, the EU would finance 10%. Do they finance 10% of all of them? They do. 825. That one is way more expensive than mobile 4G. This helps the economy. This would make probably everybody happy. I think I might go for 100%, cost over 5 years, 100% of this to stoke the economy more. Could be useful. I'm tempted to. But at the same time, I figure I'd rather want to just lower my interest rate before then. We need time to pass to really know what the interest rate is needed. Not to mention, we still have normal gas we can build and other things. So that's just some ideas. We'll keep an eye on it. And hey, we are now in NATO. Membership granted. Hell yeah. State Employees International Organization. Okay. This is good. This is what I wanted. Now we can go ahead and I'm going to yank aid from every remaining country, including the NATO ones, because now they don't need it. Now I need it. So I am now a donor that donates literally nothing. Awesome. Oh, I didn't realize Bosnia wasn't in NATO. Are they not in NATO in real life? I thought they were in NATO. Well, they're not in NATO here, so I guess that doesn't matter. They're fine where they are. We are in NATO, though. You see that? Look, now we got all the Nordic countries in NATO. Cool. Well, we're definitely well protected now. All the NATO countries sure like us. Let's take a peek at all the NATO countries. They love us now, in fact. They absolutely love us. That's New Caledonia, that's France. And so good relations, good military protection. It is a defensive alliance after all. Ukraine maybe a little less happy with us after what I did. I tried looking around Ukraine to see if they have any... one of these camps are gone. I tried looking around Ukraine to see if they had any refugee camps in general. Yeah, these guys are like getting wiped out. But I did not see any. Oh, is this a cannon? Self-propelled artillery. Yeah, I love how it just lumps all artillery into one thing and calls them cannons. I see how that's worse than missiles, but still, kind of weird. I guess Ukraine doesn't need refugee camps because their refugees just run to the cities. But it's funny because it's like an active war. You'd think that you would want refugees. I guess they want to keep their refugees, though, so it's up to them to build the camps. And the refugees themselves are probably just from the beginning of the war. All right, time's going to be passing a little bit faster now. So that's good. Growth, inflation, still moving in the directions we want them to, and that is with... Oh, no, don't ask to join the euro. That is with a 3.5% interest rate. The world average is 5.74. This will be the first thing that we want to do to actually help the economy. I could lower it to 3 right now, but we don't want growth to get too high and then inflation to stay high as a result. It's moving pretty slowly and we're not doing a heck of a lot. I'll lower it from 3.5 to 3, just a small change for now. If we get it down to 0 eventually, you could get it to -1. What the heck? What does that mean? Like you're like, what? You can deflate it now. You used to not even be able to lower it below like 1 or something. Now you can deflate it. This hurts my head. This definitely hurts my head. Let's see. Good job.
Your conservative management combined with growth prospects.
Okay. That's for debt. He's talking about debt. Because we have a good rating, I assume. How do I see my rating? Agencies. AAA. Grumpies. That's America. John Rice, and it was this one. AAA. So they think we're very likely to pay back our debt. The Chinese one, not as much, because their significance is lesser. The American ones matter the most, and they're good. Hey, an autosave. I proposed 50 bills since the beginning. In January, I proposed 50 bills. That's hilarious. Population census report. What is this? When did I ask to do this? Consists of 10.5 million inhabitants. Increase of 0.49% compared to previous year. 0 humans beings in 100 belong to our nation. Oh, compared to the world? I see. So long as it's growing, that's good. We're going to need more growth later. But again, you know, our immigration capacity is very, very, it's very open. It's very easy. We need to get the unemployment down. And that's going to come from the economic growth. And when we have low unemployment, theoretically, immigration would go up as well, especially if we're a nice place to live with all these nice laws like we have right now. And that's us joining NATO. Nice. Looking at things that help popularity, if I go all in on bike paths, which is another thing that can help the economy, the EU's willing to cover 66% of it. So naturally, I'm going to do that. That's just very easy. I assume they cover, 25% of this. I wonder what determines how much they cover. Woo, water transport's expensive to get it up to max. Access for handicap. They mainly cover bike paths. That is the most EU thing ever. We only have one port. That's interesting. And they'd be willing to cover some of this infrastructure as well. This infrastructure can help our economy as well. And I plan on building up stuff. I know we have a big nation. We have rail lines connecting most things. We have a little bit of roadways going, at least a certain amount. There's some places, rare places that are not connected by rail, by road. We're going to build those as well. And we're going to do some stuff elsewhere. How does placing the ports work? Is it just like random? No, you have to actually place it. They'd cover 3% of this. Where's our one port? Is it this? That's a naval base. Oh, getting out of the military screen, I can see that I have like a lot of offshore and even onshore wind farms as well. Oh, I can rename these? Oh, that's cute. Oh, here's our port of Gothenburg. The fact that we're passing 41 million tons of freight, which sounds like a lot, through a singular port sounds kind of dangerous. Personally, I would like to have more than one port, so that's something we're going to look into as well. Even an oil tanker port, because if we're going to start building gas, then we're going to need a way to get it out of the country, ideally, right? We also only have one airport, and it's medium traffic, 26 million passengers, and it's over here by the capital. That's it. Our transport infrastructure is really not, it's not that good. Oh, look, you can see the little train going. That's cute. Doesn't tell you what's on it, but you can see it. Beneficial popularity. Yeah. The bike paths will do that. That'll make all the environmentalists happy as well. Animal welfare. This is a new thing. You can have like a lot of animal rights. I don't really care about this. I'm not sure why we need to care about this. But now that I've made the environmentalists happy, it seems like a good time to go. And now that it's a new month, right? Go into this. Let's poll before we do this. Party budget. Right. Oh, right. Party budgets are a thing. I forgot about that. Well, Parliament is against the non-conventional gas and oil, and the people are against it. If Parliament's against it, that means we're not going to be able to pass it yet, which means we're not going to bother trying it. Political parties. Regulate funding. Mixed and unlimited funding. Since it's the beginning of the game, my party, we want to launch a fundraising campaign, right? It would cost 1.5 mil, but hopefully it should make at least that much back. It will probably do the best, during the election period. Still, I'll try not in the election period at the beginning of the game, because then there's like a trail off. And I got an achievement for that. Oh, so there's a pop-up for the EU aid that explains it. So that total aid that I saw in the budget, that total aid of 8.7 billion, this is for us and only us. Nobody else can access this, only me. And it's allocated every year based on country wealth. I guess the less wealthy you are, probably the more that you get. So you want to spend it, because if you don't spend it by the end of the year, then you don't get any more. But that means you'll have to be spending and increasing your budget constantly. So that's kind of crazy. I know something I want to increase the funding for. That's the Cybersecurity Task Force. That's going to be pretty important to not losing money. And the EU is willing to cover 20% of the budgetary increase, getting that to max. Also, it did specify that you can only do a budget increase on something with EU aid once a year. That is what I noticed. And so we're definitely going to want to keep an eye on that. I remember being able to see money lost due to cybercrime. You could see it for the world, at least. We want as little of that as possible to be in our nation, in our economy. We don't want to lose that stuff. I think because that was technically police, the pacifist union did not like that. But honestly, I don't mind. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Policemen per capita. World average is way more police than what we have. EU average is way more police than what we have. I need to increase this probably eventually. We'll have to keep an eye on the crime rate. The crime rate is actually going up. Well, with an immigration policy like this, I'm not surprised. The EU would not fund this, but I'll just do a, oh, what is that? Oh, you have to do a severance pay yourself. That's hilarious. I'm gonna raise this to, let's say, from 17,214 to 18,000. The actual stars would probably do more, but let's get a nice clean number, right? EU's not going to fund this, I'll tell you that much. I guess that in general helps. I don't know what this is, but illegal employment is on the decline. Stands at 7% of our employees. It's still quite high. Substantial loss of revenue for the state. Illegal unemployment. Yeah, that's a thing. Unreported employment. The EU actually does help fund this. It's kind of expensive, but they'll fund 35% of it. So let's go ahead and increase that and get that from them. What is this? A good year in Europe. This looks like Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that was just talking about EU functions and the Green Climate Fund and global warming. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about that. I doubt this game's gonna work to 2100, so I don't really care. But yeah, let's fight the illegal unemployment. That should hopefully help. That should hopefully... Here it is. It's gone down quite a bit from like 8.2. Now it's down to 7.44. Well, that's good. Whatever makes sure that we're getting revenue and that we're getting economic growth, which, by the way, is up to 3.62. Our growth just like skyrocketed up. I'm sure changing the interest rate from 3.5 to 3 played a big part in that. So I'm not really going to touch economic things too much now that growth is going up to this level. Inflation's still trailing down after it, though. I don't know if Germany only passed one thing or only tried to, but 0% of their bills have been approved. That's hilarious. And I guess it cares. Oh, cool. The EU has its own taxes. I mean, that's not cool. It's not amazing. We can create a EU tax on financial transactions. That's interesting. Carbon tax on imported products. They have their own right now, EU VAT 0.3%. That's actually pretty low. And tax on non-recycled plastic. The EU is using its full budget. Doesn't look like they're allowed to go into debt. And I've been checking what a lot of these are. It's just things that allow you to spend. Some of it's like border control. Some of it's... The security defense is interesting. I don't really know what this would go towards. But the security and defense as well. There's a lot of things that go towards just providing like bonuses in general. Usually for the lowest developed places, however. In case you're curious what's going on in Ukraine, as you can see here, we have a Battle of Dnipro where Russia has way more dudes than not. There's a lot of death happening on these tanks. Like 23 tanks, 20 tanks now, trying to reach Dnipro, which is under attack. And they lost this trench. So I think it's safe to say that Ukraine is definitely being pushed back. Oh, is this like a defensive thing? That sure looks defensive. I think Ukraine is definitely being pushed back right now. I don't know if the AI cares. I'm really just curious to see how the AI treats it. Because again, this is not my problem. It's really, really cheap. So I'm going to run a citizen awareness of cybersecurity campaign. It's only 5 mil. That's nothing. We only have a bronze plan. This is way more expensive. We'll start in 2 weeks. Yeah, let's just have everybody be good. Oh yeah, cyber attacks. I forgot all about these. These are usually really good. I got a pop-up about the jihadist caliphate, but they're really no big deal. You can launch conspiracy theories. That is hysterical. There's this public, poorly insulated and unsafe housing thing we can do. It's pretty good. Cost over 5 years is this much. This is something that changes every quarter or every year, I think. You can assign... Yeah, look, it's really cheap. I can only do this much for some reason, but the EU will co-finance 10% of it. That is 10% of it. So I'm guessing this does not come out of this number. So they're... Yeah, because this is 10%. So they're funding this much out of this much. So I'll let them fund that because I think they're only going to do it once a year or something anyway, so... Or maybe they'll do more because... Well, no, I'm not allowed to. Oh, my manpower is too low. What? Did I just hire like everyone in the country? Is that what just happened? Well, I guess we're going to find out what I just did. We get a large happiness bonus due to housing now that I'm doing that. That's, of course, going to cost me some money. And I'm going to stare at that unemployment like a hawk because all of a sudden we're out of manpower, which usually equated to unemployment. China made a unique space program that's never been done before. That's great for them. Our unemployment's not moving, so I'm not sure really what this is coming out of. The manpower. Because growth has gone up. Inflation's gone down. This has stopped going up as quickly, which is good. So we can kind of leave it at this rate unless we want to get it higher. I'm going to be nice and cautious and slow here now. Again, just in case. Oh, Ukraine's having a cold wave and Germany donated them some more weapons. Don't really know what that adds up to being. I guess I could like get an idea of their military might. They're like slightly stronger than me according to the game. So that's not great for them because Russia is way stronger. And still shrinking economically, which is not great for them. Ukraine did, oh my god, missile launchers galore. That stealth mechanic's cool. Oh, anti-air, that's neat. That's anti-missile, I should say. Look at that. I've never seen this in action. But yeah, Ukraine lost Dnipro and lost Kamiansk along the Dnieper. And we have movement in the north. Oh, Ukraine reclaimed Cherniv and this military base. That's cool. Belarus has Russian camps in it that are being used. That's funny.
Our network has been partially disbanded.
Wait, we have networks? I had no idea we have networks. I don't want there to be networks. 250. Let's get that back up to whatever it was. Managed networks. Number of agents. Yeah, we have a lot that just aren't doing anything. I don't think we need these ones. So let's go ahead and just get rid of these. I'll set up agents. Oh, there's a recall all agents button. Yeah. We'll do that because we don't need these and I don't need my agents getting whacked. I don't need anybody disliking me. I'll set these up when I know what I want to do with them and when I decide to increase funding to things that are relevant. Well, that fundraising's done. It didn't do too great according to them, but I see 1.6 whatever mil in profits. Is that profits, like actual profits? Fundraisers. Budget, current budget. So I don't think that's profits. I think that's basically after what we had, we earned like 100, 200K. So that's not a lot, but it is an increase and I'm fine with that. There's also the corporate donations. I know that's a thing. I remember doing that. You can meet with the key figures that like you and ask for them to donate stuff to you. So like the businessmen, both of which, after all I've done, love my guts. So I could probably go ahead and meet with both of them in one day, honestly. The billionaires and ask them for money. China discovered the high fuel battery. Well, that has nothing to do with me. We got some more economic calculations in. The unemployment looks fine, so I don't know why our manpower is so limited. It just is. However, it does look like that with the house. Oh no, yeah, with the housing, it is a one-time thing. Construction's funded. We've done all we can with that for this year. I'll do more later, I guess. One reason we need more population. Well, America donated stuff to Ukraine, including 492 missiles. Yeah, that's the thing Ukraine will need tons and tons of. Regardless, we are out of time for this episode, so I'm going to call this one here. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.